We thank the Governor of the Central Bank. I repeat, the remittance inflows for 2023, 737.12 in USD. This is an incredible number. It shows an incredible job done, but again, it reminds us as home base that Gambian diaspora are indeed the pillars to our national development. Congratulations. I now invite Ms. Ndumbe to take us through the other sessions.
Thank you so much, Usman Toure. As you rightly mentioned, there's a drastic increase from last year's figure of 33% increase. So thank you so much. I will now have the honor to invite the Honorable Professor Pierre Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, to deliver his statement. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, MC. Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, representing His Excellency, President of the Republic of the Gambia, Cabinet Ministers here present, Governors, the Honorable, His Excellency, the American Ambassador here present, His Excellencies, ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Professor Jibril Fall, Director of GK Partners and MSDG Project, the representative of the Resident Coordinator of the United Nations in the Gambia, the Deputy Ambassador of the European Union to the Gambia, the Vice President, Finance, African Finance Corporation, the Governor of the Central Bank, the Chairman of the Higher Education Advisory Committee, Dr. Ibrahim Assal, and other committees, the media, ladies, part of this significant occasion of the 7th Stake in the Nation Forum, organized in parallel with the Higher Education Conference, an initiative spearheaded by GK Partners and the Office of the President. The convergence of these events signifies a commitment to the shared values of innovation, impact, and inclusive development. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all those who have contributed to realizing this significant occasion. As the Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, I know our great nation's challenges. Like many countries, the Gambia grapples with socio-economic hurdles that necessitate strategic and collaborative efforts to overcome. MOHAS has undertaken a comprehensive approach, and we are ready to embrace the progress in policies, strategies, and plans that culminate from rigorous studies and analysis. And just yesterday, you saw our update regarding the policies and instruments that were just approved by Cabinet, starting from the transformation of MDI into a University of Civil Service, the National Research Policy, National Research and Innovation Bill, the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund Bill, and you name it. And in the coming weeks, other policies and bills will start unfolding to fulfill the vision and the mission. These endeavors represent a collective vision to address our country's challenges and foster sustainable development. It has been a collective process of various stakeholders that crafted initiatives to address the short, medium, and long-term socioeconomic development challenges faced by our beloved nation, the Gambia. Distinguished participants, the theme of the 7th Stake in the Nation Forum, Innovation and Impact for Inclusive Development, resonates deeply with the ethos of our ministry. The Parallel Higher Education Conference, focusing on improving the development impact of higher education, will provide us with a unique opportunity to deliberate on practical actions and strategies to enhance the contribution of tertiary and higher education to national development. Our esteemed speakers, panelists, and participants shall bring a wealth of expertise and experiences to the table. And today we seek answers. We are from academia. We will ask questions, but we don't have the answers. But we believe you, are the stakeholders, will find answers for us. And that will shape the future of higher education in the Gambia. And the questions that we will put forward can be put into 4 categories. 1, enhancing productivity, innovation, and economic expansion. The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science, and Technology, MOHAS, will be interested in identifying practical solutions and activities that the tertiary and higher education institutions should undertake to boost productivity, foster innovation, and contribute to the expansion of the Gambian economy. Number 2, collaboration with the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Hub at USET. Under this theme, the tertiary and higher education subsector would want to know how tertiary and higher education institutions will collaborate with the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Hub already established at the University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET, to facilitate the creation of rewarding and sustainable jobs for our graduates entering the job market annually. Number 3, practical contributions from professionals and partners. Again, we are interested to know how the professionals and partners within the Gambia and the diaspora can practically and meaningfully support the public and private tertiary and higher education subsector in achieving our national development goals. And finally, number 4, engaging the diaspora and sustainable development. Our policies and frameworks are not mere documents, but blueprints for the future. A future where every Gambian, regardless of your background, can thrive and contribute to the prosperity of our nation, so that one day we may reach the promised land. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all fruitful deliberations, profound insights, and meaningful collaborations. Together, let us chart a course towards a future where the impact of higher education reverberates across every corner of our society, leaving no one behind, so that the Gambia, the smiling coast, will continue to smile. Shalom.
Honorable Professor Gomez, we thank you for your statement. It is now my honor to invite His Excellency Ms. Sharon L. Cromer, Ambassador of the United States of America to the Gambia, to deliver her statement. You're welcome, ma'am.
The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, Gambians Abroad, representing His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, all members of the Cabinet, National Assembly, diplomats, the Central Bank Governor, the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Thank you for this wonderful invitation to join you in the 7th Stake of the Nation Forum. 2 years ago, this week, I was in Washington, D.C., preparing for my assignment as the U.S. Ambassador to the Republic of the Gambia, when I heard of the tragic Twin Park Bronx fire in New York City, which took the lives of 17 precious souls, 11 of whom were members of the Gambian diaspora. In March 2022, before departing for the Gambia, I asked the New York City mayor, who had worked closely with the Gambian community in New York, if his staff could arrange for me to meet with the Gambian diaspora, including the family and friends of those killed in the fire. Thus, my journey to the Gambia began in New York City with that deeply emotional and profound introduction to the Gambia diaspora. I still have strong ties with many of the Gambian Americans I met that day and others who I have met since. What I've discovered over the past 2 years serving in this wonderful country is that Gambians, no matter where they live, are a strong, resilient community with tremendous heart and deep, unbreakable bonds with their homeland and with their fellow Gambians. Given the country's small size, it's often said to me that all Gambians know one another. But it goes much beyond that. Despite their differences, Gambians mourn for one another, care deeply for one another, and are strong for one another. The Gambian diaspora living in the United States is a vital and sustained source of resources for this beautiful country. Gambians living in Los Angeles, Seattle, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., New York, and other cities across the United States are indispensable to this country's development, and the effort to build a brighter future for the next generation. I have met numerous Gambian Americans who are investing their time, their experience, their resources in their homeland. Each of their stories is inspirational and their collective impact profound. The United States stands as a steadfast partner to the Gambia. We are a partner committed to the country's development and prosperity and stability, because the Gambia serves as a model not only in the region but across the globe, a model for democracy, for justice, for human rights. Ambassador Ka at the United Nations Human Rights Commission in Geneva once said to me that, quote, "We may be a small country, but we are not a small-minded people," end quote. The Honorable Minister Tangara has often said to me that we stand for human rights because it is the right thing to do. The U.S. government partners with the Gambian government and people in 3 key areas. 1, promoting democracy and good governance. 2, advancing inclusive, broad-based economic growth. And 3, strengthening the institutions that invest in the Gambian people. Our programs are closely aligned with the country's National Development Plan. In 2023, the total of all of our programs together rose to $80 million, a 25-fold increase. In 2023, the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, trained more than 200 members of the judiciary, the Gambian Bar Association, National Agency for Legal Aid, human rights advocates, media, and civil rights organizations to promote transparency and accountability in the justice sector as part of a 5-year, nearly $8 million investment. A judiciary case management system will be installed soon to help make the administration of justice more efficient. Both USAID and the U.S. Department of State are providing technical support to the Ministry of Justice to implement key aspects of the Truth, Reconciliation, and Reparation Commission's recommendations, including helping to establish the Special Prosecutor's Office and stand up the ECOWAS Hybrid Court to bring justice for those who were victims of torture, disappearances, and death. To advance inclusive, broad-based economic growth, the Millennium Challenge Corporation's $25 million threshold grant is working to provide access to reliable electricity to all Gambians. The MCC Compact, announced by President Biden last December, in 2022, that is, at Africa's Leaders Summit, will address 2 critical constraints to economic growth: weak skills training at the secondary education level and the underutilization of the Gambia River in order to stimulate commerce and tourism, and good jobs for Gambians. Addressing these constraints will unleash the private sector to invest in this country, to transform the economy by creating jobs and economic opportunities for Gambians at home and abroad. The U.S. Department of Treasury is providing 2 resident expert advisors to the Minister of Finance and his team to improve debt management and budget formulation. To strengthen institutions that invest in the Gambian people, President Biden announced last April that the Gambia will be a partner in the President's Malaria Initiative, a program that supports countries that are committed to scaling up to prevent malaria. With an initial $4 million investment, the U.S. government will partner with the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders to completely eradicate malaria in the Gambia in the coming years. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, through the McGovern-Dole Food for Education program, is investing nearly $30 million over 5 years to provide primary school children with a nutritious meal in order to improve their learning outcomes. This program will benefit 100,000 individuals here in the Gambia, including 57,000 primary school children, parents, teachers, smallholder farmers, and many others. The objective is simple: to help give the next generation of Gambians an opportunity to reach their full potential and become productive members of this great country. Across these 3 key areas of U.S. development support, we continue to prioritize the empowerment of Gambian women and girls, one of the greatest untapped resource of national potential and strength. The Gambian female represents 51% of the population. As former Secretary of State John Kerry once said, quote, "No nation can get ahead if it leaves half of its population behind." That's true for the United States, and it's true for the Gambia. All of these endeavors in the Gambia are part of a broader U.S.-wide effort to recognize the incredible strength of the Africa diaspora, to recognize both our history and our future with the continent. President Biden established the President's Advisory Council on African Diaspora Engagement in the United States, with the aim of advancing equity and opportunity for the African diaspora in the United States, and strengthening cultural, social, political, and economic ties between our countries. Let me conclude where I started. My first official introduction to Gambian diasporans was amidst a great tragedy. However, through that experience, I have personally witnessed the resilience, unity, and unwavering commitment of the Gambian people, regardless of where they reside. The U.S. government stands by all Gambians at home and abroad to help shape a brighter future, find solutions, and ensure that both our people and nations thrive. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Kroma, we thank you for your statement. It is my honor to invite Ms. Mandisa Masologu, UNDP resident representative of United Nations in the Gambia, to deliver her statement.
Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians abroad, all cabinet ministers here present, development partners, civil society and non-governmental organizations, distinguished members of the Gambia Diaspora, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that JK Partners and the MSDG project have given me a promotion. I would just like to clarify, my name is Mandisa Mashologo, the UNDP resident representative to the Gambia. It is a great honor to address you today at the 7th Stake in the Nation Forum convened by the government in collaboration with GK Partners and the MSD project under the very relevant and important focus on innovation and impact for inclusive development, particularly in this decade of action towards the Global Development Agenda. I extend my sincere gratitude to the government and His Excellency the President for the vision in organizing this forum and for the steadfast dedication in open discussions and collaboration to address the challenges and, most importantly, the opportunities for the well-being of the people of the Gambia. This truly is a great initiative in building on the various impressive national processes in better informing and shaping the national, regional, and global commitment towards the Sustainable Development Goals for all. The Gambia, like many other nations, has witnessed the complexities of the shocks and crises that have impacted the development gains for peace and prosperity. The Stake in the Nation Forum provides a unique opportunity for dialogue and exchange to collectively, through a whole of society approach, including civil society, private sector, academia, development partners, and the government, to reflect, engage, and build networks in a united and common front for renewed commitment and accelerated action towards sustainable development of this beautiful country. Ladies and gentlemen, we congratulate and commend the Gambia for fully embracing and appreciating the significant role played by its diaspora in the economic, social, and political environment in accelerating our collective commitments towards Agenda 2030. Recognizing the importance of the diaspora as an integral part of the national fabric, the emphasis of fostering partnerships mirrors the collaborative spirit supported by the United Nations Development System through our Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework, which was signed on the United Nations Day in October 2024 last year. And really working closely with the Green Recovery Focused National Development Plan ethos in terms of inclusivity, resilience, and prosperity for all. As the United Nations Development Programme, it is our firm commitment to continue to enhance the collective support to economic diversification, private sector participation, and the creation of decent green jobs through efforts that foster resilience, attract diaspora investments, explore innovating co-financing mechanisms, and expand the impact of remittances beyond family support and towards the more productive sectors of the economy that can provide sustainable human and social development. To definitely make sure that we leave no one behind, focusing on women, children, the youth, people with disabilities, and displaced peoples. Our support, collaboration, and partnerships under the National Development Plan is geared towards 3 distinct but interrelated thematic areas. Firstly, on environmental, sustainable, and climate resilience. Second, responsive, accountable governance and peace building. And thirdly, green, inclusive economic growth. We fully recognize that innovative and integrated development financing, solid evidence-based policies and programs that are implemented in an effective and efficient manner, transparency and accountability, innovation, digitalization, and creating a more conducive environment for the dynamic youth dividend of this country and its women, working closely with trusted civil society from the national to the local level, and the voice of civil society will truly have a meaningful impact for the people of the Gambia when they work in tandem with the diaspora. The full engagement and support of the diaspora with these boots on the ground in this great nation is critical and a great force and catalyst for accelerating the national development agenda for all. We as UNDP and our sister agencies reaffirm our commitment to support and work with you for this very great nation. Abaraka.
President Representative Mashologo, we thank you for that statement, Abaraka. It is now our honor to invite Mr. Rafael Brigade, Deputy Ambassador of the European Union to the Gambia, to deliver his statement. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Minister of Education, various ministers present today, representatives of the National Assembly, representative of ministries, Governor of the Central Bank, Vice President of AFC, Director of GK Partners, and all representatives of Diaspora present today, US Ambassador, UNDP country representatives, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the press, distinguished guests. It is my pleasure to attend today's forum on behalf of the European Union. The Gambia is endowed with a significant diaspora, at times referred to as the 8th region of the country. A diaspora strongly attached to its homeland and actively contributing to its development through knowledge, skills, and resources. The diaspora is keen to do more to continue playing its role in strengthening the Gambian economy, its democracy, and society altogether. In this context, the President of the Republic's initiative of creating in 2017 the Stake in the Nation Forum is highly commendable and welcome. This regular forum not only acknowledges the role of the diaspora, but also ensures a structural and continuous engagement between the diaspora, the government, and all relevant national and international stakeholders. So, how is the European Union accompanying this dynamic and more broadly, the Gambia's development. Who says diaspora, of course, thinks remittances, which, as outlined by the governor of the central bank, represents a significant portion of the nation's GDP. In order to increase the sustainable impact of the remittances, the EU has created a regional program, Prime Africa, which stands for Platform for Remittances, Investments and Migrants Entrepreneurship in Africa. This program started in 2019 and runs for 5 years in 7 countries, out of which the Gambia, and has a budget of 15 million euros. It is implemented by IFED with the Gambia, as I said, as one of the benefiting countries, and has 3 core components: market intelligence, operations, and policy engagement. So in concrete terms, the program's goal is to improve financial education and to offer a broad range of financial services and products. The latter shall promote cheaper, faster, and safer remittance transfers. Moreover, the remittance recipients are being empowered to make smarter financial choices. By maximizing the impact of remittances for many thousands families, Prime Africa is eventually fostering local economic opportunities. As we had the chance to discuss last year with Professor Jibril Fall during insightful discussions around the MSDG project, the EU is keen to examine for the future other possible actions involving the diaspora. So, as we know, migrants actively contribute to the development of their countries of origin, but when we talk migration globally, we are also mindful of the dangers of illegal migration. Too many citizens, too many young people have lost their lives in choosing the back way. For this reason, it is key to continue creating economic opportunities at home while providing more venues for legal migration. In this regard, in November of last year, the EU presented a series of initiatives to make the EU more attractive to talent from third countries and help address critical labor shortages. This so-called Skills and Talent Mobility Package includes the creation of an EU talent pool, which is an online platform which will match employers in the EU with job seekers from non-EU countries, as well as provide measures simplifying qualifications recognition procedures to promote student and labor market mobility. While we want to contribute in ensuring that those who chose to migrate do so in a safe, informed, and legal manner, the EU is and continues to be committed in supporting the Gambia in creating opportunities that encourage the youth to thrive within their own country. Let me therefore outline some of our development cooperation priorities. These have always been and will always be aligned to the nation's and the government's priorities. The EU has massively accompanied the Gambia over the last 7 years, since its democratic transition. The EU, we have provided an unprecedented investment of 500 million euros over this period, so from 2017 up to 2024. The EU-Gambia current partnerships revolves around 3 priority areas: good governance, green economy for sustainable growth and jobs, and human development. Our interventions cover a broad range of sectors, from transitional justice to security, human rights, democratic reforms, public finance, tourism, job creation, energy, infrastructure, local government, and private sector support, just to name the main ones. As a reminder, in 2015 was also launched the European Union Emergency Trust Fund, whose aim was to foster stability and to address the root causes of irregular migration and displaced persons in Africa, as well as to contribute to better migration management. The fund adopted a multidimensional approach to migration where prevention through awareness raising on the risk of irregular migration was completed by migrant protection, including return and reintegration facilitation and institutional capacity building for migration management. In parallel, the Trust Fund targeted the root causes for irregular migration by providing employment opportunities for the youth. Just to give one strong example of the actions and achievements we managed to do together with the government in this regard, the fund enabled the implementation of the Tekifi and the YEP. So the YEP was a youth empowerment project which created thousands of jobs here in the Gambia for young people. So many development results have been accomplished and the work continues, of course. We stand alongside the government, the state, and other key stakeholders in supporting the sustainable development of the Gambia. So let me here simply conclude in emphasizing how inspiring and uplifting it is to witness also the mobilization of the Diaspora alongside all other national actors. For today, I wish you fruitful exchanges during the various workshops and all networking opportunities. Many thanks for your attention.
Deputy Ambassador Brigandi, we thank you for your statement. It is now my honor to invite Mr. Ibrahim Sawane, Diaspora keynote speaker, to deliver his statement. Mr. Sawane is Vice President, Finance at the African Finance Corporation, currently seconded as Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer of Arise Ports and Logistics in Dubai. He has a distinguished career in banking and finance and is the author of 2 books. In 2022, he was awarded a honorary order of Ivorian knighthood by the President of Côte d'Ivoire for his service to infrastructural development. As Mr. Sawane comes to the podium, we invite the police band to surrender him, and we could not think of a better song than the Mandinka song, Kodo, meaning money. And this is the traditional song revived in recent times by a popular musician, St. Birkama Boyo. And the police band is over to you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister Dr. Tangara, representing the President, Honorable Ministers, business leaders, members of the Parliament, esteemed guests, Diaspora community, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning to you all. It is indeed a privilege to stand before you today, not just as a young professional, but also a son of the Gambia, a nation that has shaped my journey from a humble beginning in a village called Saruja, right to the global leadership of a CFO. My story is a testament to the power of education, the vital role of inclusion in fostering development and fight against poverty. I am a school dropout from junior secondary school, but I returned back through the help of families, friends, and mentors. My dreams of going to the University of the Gambia also derailed because my family didn't have the funding to send me to university. However, the corridors of the banking industry opened a path for me through which I became a cashier in Guaranty Trust Bank in 2004. Through this cashier job, I sent myself back to school, studied ACCA, and became a chartered accountant. And in 2011, I had opportunities to move to Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, this progress, I do not call it a success, I call it a progress because we have many young Gambians who need a similar opportunities and growth. But this progress wouldn't have been possible without the support, without inclusion, and without help. Today, as a Gambian, I feel proud, but I also feel concerned, and I also feel challenged when I look at the realities of our nation. According to reports from the Gambia Statistics Bureau, as of 2020, the Gambia's poverty rate stood at 53%. The senior secondary school completion rate from 2018 to 2022 averages at 41%. Although these figures represent a progress we have made as a nation compared to the past decade. However, these numbers are not just statistics. They represent the lives, they represent the dreams of millions of Gambians. Therefore, we must continue and search for innovative solutions, create impact that include everyone irrespective of wherever they are based. This is required for both the Gambians in the country and those in the diaspora. Ladies and gentlemen, our nation needs support. It needs support from all of us. Our experience, our resources can bring changes in education, in healthcare, and other key sectors for this nation. Today, more than ever, innovation makes it possible for us to participate in inclusive national development. Please allow me to share with you two out of the many ways through which diaspora can participate in the national development. Of these two, out of which myself and other Gambians are currently participating. First is the structured investment. I am aware many of us are sending remittances to support our families. But beyond supporting our families, we should consider structured investment. And to give you an example, 5 years ago, myself and some friends set up a company. That company supports Gambian businesses in a form of debt and equity. That company trains Gambian talents. That company provides advisory to Gambian businesses. In the past 4 years, we have invested more than $6.5 million in this country. I imagine what we can achieve if many diasporas put their funds in a structured way. And the opportunities are now here on the table. The central bank governor just announced to us today about the diaspora investment through the NDI. Beyond that, we know there are discussions about the diaspora bonds programs. When such programs comes to alive, we should look at two important impacts. One, you make your return, but the most important thing, you are making impact into the lives of other Gambians. The second method through which we can support as diaspora is through knowledge and skill transfer. Many of us as diaspora have acquired skills and knowledge from global perspective. These skills can immensely contribute to the development of our local talent, our businesses through mentoring, through offering trainings and other supports with the national institutions. In 2017, I started a blog called The Business in Gambia. Through this blog, I have published more than 200 articles. For every blog I wrote, my focus is on the Gambia. We write about personal finance, business development, and personal development. In 2021, I joined forces with Gambians, both in the diaspora and in the country. We set up a platform called Finance Leadership Forum. Through this forum, we network, we share knowledge through webinars and breakfast sessions. And I'm happy to announce that in the past 4 years, on average, we have impacted over 5,000 people annually, both in and outside the Gambia. Ladies and gentlemen, paths to transformative development is never a solitary journey. It requires collaboration. It requires shared visions and relentless pursuit for innovations. Let us leverage our strength. Let us leverage new ideas. Let us bring global knowledge to solve our local issues. History has shown us that when people come together, they are able to solve issues that looks totally impossible. In 1884, 29 people met in Berlin to discuss how to partition Africa among themselves. That was the Scramble for Africa or the Berlin Conference. In 35 years, they've made their goal because they had a vision. In 1945, about 79 people met in Manchester. That was the 5th Pan-African Congress. Their objective was how to make African countries independent. In less than 35, they've achieved their goals because they had a shared vision. They had we mentality. They believed that no other African country was independent if one other African country was still under colonial rulership. And today, I heard that we are almost 400 people in this building, 13 January 2024. My question to you and to myself, what is it that we want the next generation to remember us in 35 years' time? Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Ibrahima Sawane, we thank you for your statement. It is now my honor to invite Professor Jibril Fall, Director of GK Partners and MSDG Project, to deliver his statement. Welcome, sir.
Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues. I'm a big fan of Mr. Sawane, and it's not just only because he has money, although that helps. The theme today is about innovation and impact, and my short intervention is about how do we make that innovation. Like good, lazy people, I like to have tools. I like to be helped. And in the field of trying to change things, the tools that are available to us do not always work. Therefore, we need as many as possible. I'll share with you one or two tools that I found useful. The Italian-Swiss gentleman, he was a polymath, Wilfredo Pareto. Many of you know him, perhaps, in mathematics. But he was the chap who came with the 20/80 rule, had observed that in nature and in many fields in life, we only use 20% of things we have 80% of the time. And many theories and practices have evolved around that. My own approach to that is, what if that is an indication that if we want to change something that is 100% of the thing, perhaps it may be better if we do 20% at a time. If we succeed, we can cheat. We'll tell people we're doing only 20%. After 5 cycles, it's a different animal. That is one approach to innovation. Because as humans, continuity and familiarity is extremely important. Here we are, the SNF family, 7 years. There are certain things that are familiar. The good imam from Latrikunda would come and pray for us. The good priest from the Methodist Church will come and pray for us. Our friends, the police band, will serenade us. We will have ministers on the high table, ministers at workshop, ministers everywhere, and permanent secretary engaging with us. There are certain things that I knew. It has been our honor and pleasure for the first time to have the ambassador of the United States of America. We have had many engagements with the European Union, but this is also the first time that we've had a senior representative. And yes, we got the apologies of the ambassador. We wish him speedy recovery. Our good friends, the Swiss, this is only the second of 7 years that they've not been able to attend due to unavoidable circumstances. But we give our thanks and we remember them whenever we are at SNF here. Within the past 7 years, this idea of just trying a little bit until you've got the job done has stood us in good stead. Some of the ideas that have now become normal, or you may call the orthodoxy in the practice of diaspora of development. 30 years ago, when nuisance makers like myself were troubling the World Bank, international organizations, about how things should be done differently, it wasn't not only understood, let alone accepted. And now we are in the domain of a global compact on migration. And here in Gambia, when the change happened from dictatorship to a new dawn of democracy, there were also things around diaspora and development that were not understood, let alone accepted. But with that commitment of partnership from the government, we've been able to try certain things. And I'll give you one example that perhaps will resonate to people more. When the proprietors of what became M-Pesa and the start of mobile money went to the Central Bank of Kenya, who were the other country that received an award together with the Central Bank of the Gambia last year, the governor and the team said, "We don't understand this. How can we regulate you? We don't understand it." A traditional Orthodox regulator would have killed it there. But with the idea of trying something new meant they said, well, yes, this is different from the mainstream we have, but we'll try it. So they decided to follow them until they learn more to regulate it. Lo and behold, it has opened up an entire new industry to the point where Africa boasts to be a world leader in certain aspects of technology, and mobile money is one of them. I do remind my Kenyan friends that Kenya is no longer number one in mobile money. That honor goes to Somalia. I will not go any further, but that just tells you the power of change and how innovation can have huge transformative effect. For us, some of the things that have had huge effect to even our surprise is the Diaspora Development Fund. You will remember last year we had a roll call of our fellows. I can tell you that the impact of their work is far beyond what us at GK Partners or MSDG would have anticipated. You will have the opportunity to see the slideshows, and we're developing a whole exhibition around that. But I would just pick one or two examples. You saw a short film based on a novel written by our Koto Baba Silla, and it's called The Money. And he'd used his decades of experience as a teacher, writer, sociologist to craft this story that is now rendered in film. And I think you saw a 1-minute trailer about it. Many of you may also have noticed that almost every activity in the National Assembly, now you can see it on television. Because the National Assembly have now their own TV. It's called National Assembly TV. So they live stream everything. When we were working with them, I know members of the National Assembly are in the room, but it is true, there was a degree of not understanding or being enthusiastic about it. Today I am informed that our representative in Parliament would often check that before they speak, that the cameras are on, because that's the record. So they have a studio, remote control cameras, and they now produce all of the feed and give it to the media platforms. The media platforms used to incur high costs to go to the National Assembly every day. Now they don't, because National Assembly gets a high quality, high definition feed which it passes on to the media houses. And we agreed, give them the feed free of charge, and if they want, they don't even need to recognize your brand. So now, almost every feed of National Assembly originally comes from the National Assembly TV. And that was a DDF initiative, and a diaspora fellow called Lamin Marong, he's in the room based in Norway, who runs a television himself and worked with the National Assembly team in here. In the next phase, we're serving have significant resources and income. And they have made the judgment that employment in the Gambia will not be able to give it to them. They may be wrong, but they believe it. So unless they stop believing it, the problem subsists. And the way they stop believing it is not by us telling them that you shouldn't believe it. It's by us showing them an overwhelming portfolio
Thank you so much. Just a quick one. Once the coffee break is announced, we urge that everyone goes upstairs to the restaurant. The ushers will usher you on the stations. Then we would like to have the media and the police band to remain in the hall. You will have the ushers to direct you in the other side. Thank you so much, Ibrahim Sawane, for that great deliberation. When finance guys speak, it's always scary to get close to the podium because you don't know if they leave an envelope or not. And thank you so much, Professor Jibril Fall, for that remarks and statement. Just few seconds before coming to the last part of this session. In 2020, when I first traveled to Rwanda, I thought I was the star of this country, and I traveled as one. And I met a Gambian, like most of you in the diaspora, incredible Gambian in Kigali, who has lived there for the past 20 years and have worked in all their top financial sectors, CEOs of major banks in Rwanda. I was with him taking a tour of Kigali, and then he said to me in Wolof, Usman, xana war nga xam Prof Jibril Fall? Ma ne ko, no, xawma ko. Mu ne ma, jovially, kon yow àggaguloo. So Prof, you know, we discussed a lot, and he went straight from his phone and said, get his contact, call him, text him. And fast forward, today I am an associate under Prof Jibril Fall. So to all the young people here today, it's an opportunity. And when you see opportunities like such, grab it. And Gambians are exemplary everywhere around the world, like Prof, like Chernobyl in Rwanda. There are many other Gambian stars that every moment you have, use it as an opportunity to tap into their wisdom and knowledge. It will take you far. I am a living testimony. Honorable ministers, distinguished participants, it is now time for the final item of the opening session. May we now stand for the national anthem again, as I invite Honorable Dr. Momodou Tangara, Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperations and Gambians Abroad, to deliver the SNF 7th presidential address on behalf of His Excellency President Adama Barrow. So we begin after the count of 1, 2, 1. Thank you. Honorable Minister, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I don't know what my protocol people think about having the national anthem before I speak. We have some protocol gurus in the room. I don't think it was necessary. We would have Baby play a soundtrack and then deliver the statement, because we've already had the national anthem. But anyway, we learn from our mistakes, but I think we should be mindful of protocol. My task today is a very simple one, is to read the statement of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Adama Barrow. But before reading the statement, I was asked by Professor Jibril Fall to share some thoughts. And I can say that I'm honored and happy to be here to represent His Excellency, the President. And I want to seize this opportunity to commend and congratulate Professor Fall for his hard work, his resilience, and for his passion in this mission. I consider it a mission to promote the diaspora and to help us harness the potential of the diaspora. I always say that the much talked about African Renaissance cannot happen without one of the key pillars of our society, the diaspora. We have example of countries like Korea, that were the Republic of Korea, they were able to leapfrog thanks to the tremendous contribution of the diaspora. And I think the Gambia, we are blessed to have a very vibrant, very dynamic diaspora. And wherever we go, we meet them, and we've seen them with a lot of pride, and they are always proud to show that they are from the Gambia. I want to also congratulate and thank all the speakers for all the brilliant intervention. And the example of Mr. Sawane, I think, can serve as an inspiration to our young ones. What you do today will determine what you will become tomorrow. And I think with perseverance, hard work, you can move mountains. The diaspora, in his statement, he talked about the historical participation of the diaspora, even in the liberation struggle of our continent. One cannot overemphasize the role of the diaspora. In America, you had the Niagara movement with Web Du Bois. In France, in the Quartier Latin, you have the Legitime Defense movement. You have great and dignified sons of the diaspora like Franz Fanon, George Padmore, who played a key role. And the topic of migration, I think, is one of the most important today because of the challenges we are facing, which are not only developmental, I can say they are societal and existential challenges. Sometimes our partners look at migration only from the security perspective. Migration is part and parcel of human history. No one can stop it. And I remember, and I like to quote President Diouf when he said that aucun mur, aucune loi ne peut arrêter cette vague qui va déferler sur l'Europe. That there is no wall, no law that can stop this wave that will storm Europe. When he was asking the partners to help us create opportunities for the young one to stay. Unfortunately, today we find ourselves in this situation where this Mediterranean Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, and the desert have become a cemetery for our young ones. They are not criminals. These are ambitious young people who want to achieve, but who are disappointed with, we must say, with the leadership of the continent, because the future is bleak for them. What are the solutions? I think with partners, we need to sit and have a serious reflection on that. And I will enjoy Professor Jibril Fall with all his passion to start this conversation, because this conversation goes beyond partisan politics. We need to sit and discuss it. I'm also equally happy that we're having a parallel session on higher education. Higher education is key. For any country to leapfrog, you have to fight the vicious circle of ignorance. And to break the vicious circle of underdevelopment, education is key. Because you cannot understand the situation in which Africa is today. We are too rich to be poor. We have all the resources. But sometimes there are a lot of proxy wars going on, and whilst we are busy fighting and killing each other, others are tearing the treasures out of the bowels of our lands, as Joseph Conrad would say. I'm happy because I also like to quote Bolivar when he said that las naciones marchan con el mismo paso que camina su educación superior. That the pace of evolution of nation is dictated by the higher education system of that country. If you know what you have today in your higher education system, you will know what you will have tomorrow. I think the Gambia, we don't need to go far. Before the advent of the University of the Gambia, we were highly dependent on foreign expertise. Today we are creating homegrown experts. So I think having this parallel session is a very important one, and I really commend Professor Fall, Professor Gomez for being so thoughtful. Now I think I better read the statement that I'm asked to do. Honorable colleague ministers here present, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, Honorable National Assembly members, governors, Professor Jibril Fall, Director of GK Partners and the MSDG project, members of the Gambian Diaspora, religious and community leaders, members of the media fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly and respectfully observed. It is my utmost pleasure to welcome you all to the 7th State in the Nation Forum, addressing the theme of innovation, impact, and inclusive development. Given the relevance of such a theme to the progress of our beloved Gambia, it is apt that the SNF7 also hosts a parallel conference on the topic of improving the development impact of higher education, organized in partnership with the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. I commend GK Partners and MSDG project for their diligent cooperation and collaboration with a wide range of government ministries, departments, and agencies. No community or nation can progress and thrive without ensuring that its various development activities create actual positive impacts, especially for citizens from deprived socioeconomic backgrounds. However, the magnitude, quality, and sustainability of impacts depend largely on the level of innovation incorporated in the development activities themselves. Given the current development status of our country, we need to increase both innovation and practice and the impact of programs. As President, one of my constitutional duties is to embark on an annual Meet the People's Talk. I get to hear about problems and challenges faced by citizens up and down the country. I get to see the projects and programs implemented by my government and other development partners. Most importantly, I get to witness how positive development impacts transform the lives, livelihoods, and lifestyles of individuals, families, and communities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the need for innovation, impact, and inclusive development in the Gambia is great because for far too long, too many of our compatriots are afflicted by the indignities of poverty and socioeconomic exclusion. The opportunity for innovative transformation is real because this small country of ours is blessed with people with brilliant minds, great knowledge, and world-class skills. The will for sustainable and inclusive development is alive because my government is committed to structural reform to expand, enhance, and leverage human and other resources, including integrating the Gambian diaspora within the development frameworks. Globally, and on the African continent, we are witnessing major innovations in all aspects of life. Whilst technological advances are changing the way we live, we must not be mere bystanders of submissive consumers only. Although it's unlikely that small Gambia can lead innovations in many disciplines, it will be unfortunate if we don't lead in any. Indeed, Gambians in the diaspora already play important roles in global innovations. At home, we need the enabling structures, systems, and mindset to facilitate applied research, experimentation, and new approaches to productive and development action. This is needed even if it involves taking calculated risks. I am pleased to note that regarding certain aspects of diaspora development policy and practice, the Gambia has indeed been innovative, impactful, and a global leader. In June 2023, the United Nations Global Forum on Remittances, Investment and Development, convened by IFAD, presented an award to the Central Bank of the Gambia and Central Bank of Kenya in recognition of their leading and innovative work on remittances. In August 2023, the United Nations Migration Network recognized the MSDG project as an example of global good practice and included it in the repository of practice. The African Union also has used the MSDG project as an example of innovation and impact which other countries can adopt or adapt. When Professor Fall presented the project in 2017, my government accepted it as the first ever diaspora-led technical cooperation program. We recognized that a new innovative approach was needed to harness, expand, and enhance diaspora contributions. Similar innovation can be undertaken in very many other fields of development practice and action. I encourage and urge public, private, and other institutions and organizations to actively seek out and create partnerships with innovators and change makers. This will bring new thinking and approaches for actualizing positive changes and increasing impact for the benefit of our beloved nation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am proud that the annual stake in the Nation Forum has become a valuable institution. As we anticipate way back in 2017 when it was initiated as an innovative event, combining policy forum, consultative dialogue, and diaspora homecoming meeting. At the start of the new year, Gambians at home and abroad gathered together and dialogue amongst ourselves and with development partners. It is the day when we are informed of the annual remittance inflows, reminding us that remittances remain the most important form of development finance for families, communities, and the real economy. It is the day we embrace each other and refresh our patriotic spirits, irrespective of our political or ideological leanings. It is the day that as President, get the chance to formally thank the diaspora for their unending commitment and generosity. We know and we acknowledge the hardships you face in lands far and wide. I convey to you the heartfelt thanks and prayers of a grateful nation. I also thank the government of Switzerland for their decade-long technical partnership with GK partners and their ongoing financial support of the MSDG project and other programs in the Gambia. As it prepares for its fourth phase in 2024, the government restates its continuing commitment to the MSDG project as a technical cooperation program. We also encourage other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and I wish you well in your deliberations and look forward to the 8th New Year.
Thank you, the police band. Thank you, Honorable Dr. Tangara. We thank you for delivering the statement, and we ask that you convey to the President the thanks and gratitude of the MSDG project for the continued cooperations. Honorable Ministers, distinguished participants, here in Sadauda Kairaba Jawara Conference Center and those watching online. We have now come to the end of the opening session of the 7th Stake in the Nation Forum. We are pleased to invite everyone for refreshment at the first. So we have refreshment in the upstairs, in the first floor. And as I said earlier on, with the media and the police band, you can remain in the hall, and you, don't worry, your food. So you can remain in the hall, and the officers will guide you to the room on the other side. May we stand as the distinguished speakers leave the stage. Thank you. Dama xiif